I'm going to be doing a bunch of multitasking. I've got all of these that I need to put all of these on. If anybody is out there, if you can tell me how the audio is. A lot of things to do, but I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what's been going on since the last weekend. I'm a little too short here. Let me see if I can do anything about that. What can I use to prop that up? Can you hear that noise in the background? Let me see. How's that? Okay? Alright. I'm going to close this door in the back. Light isn't quite right. So, anyhow. Can you hear me all right? I've got a swamp cooler going on. It helps keep this place cool. Comment in, add a comment there and let me know how the volume is online. Can you hear me all right? Got 3 people watching, 2 thumbs up. Somebody comment, let me know. Let me see, all chats there. Well, all right, be on the safe side. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. I'm just thinking it's maybe a little too loud. All right. I'm gonna have to do something about like microphones or something. Because in the summer, I really need to have that swamp cooler going. But I want to make sure you can hear me too. Oh, you could hear me just fine. Was that before or after I turned off the swamp cooler? Because it's off right now. I'm not sure when you might have commented on that. All right. Anyhow, either way is okay. All right. I appreciate that. Anyhow, just a couple things to let you know what's going on. I am still in the process of trying to get caught up on all my vacuum sealers. If you had ordered one, know that it is coming. I do have everything that I need to get everything done. But in addition to that, I had a number of people asking me about being able to seal the half-gallon jar. So this is the 4-inch tube that I have access to readily. This is a 6-inch tube that costs quite a lot of money, but this is what a half-gallon will fit into. And then I did get a couple of the end caps for it. But I was just thinking, you know, this is going to be a lot heavier, a lot bigger, a lot more costly to ship. Is there another way of doing this? Obviously, it's not going to fit in the 4-inch, but really all I need to do is get that vacuum around there. Well, of course, if you've got one of the Food Saver branded things that will go on top, I think it should work with this, because it's just going to go ahead and suck down along here. And those are now available. I've seen them for as little as $12 on Amazon. So that, if you just want to do a standard mason jar where it's got the 2-part lid, that'll work fine for a half-gallon. You don't need to get anything, you know, more costly on that. However, if you want to put a lid on that is a 1-piece lid, and it's just something that you want to be able to screw on and off whenever you want, those Food Saver branded or something like it that just goes over the top and it sucks the air out of just, you know, these kind of lids, then that's not going to work. So what else can you do if you don't want to get one of those 6-inch diameter tubes that are, you know, going to be very expensive if I were to make something like that? Well, I used a heat gun, and this is a little squared off. Excuse me, dropped it. So I squared it off a little using a heat gun and then molding it to the shape of this. So adding then some rubber seal to that, if you can see that there. It's the same gasket material I use in the cap. Putting that on there and then using the Food Saver again, then that worked. And it works either, you know, with this, you know, kind of 2-part lid. It also works with the 1-part lid that you know, if you just want to be able to take it on and off whenever. And I have a whole bunch of cookies in my one inside the house. But anyhow, let me know if this is something that you would be interested in. I know I don't have too many people on the live stream right now, but if you're watching this later on, please comment, leave your comments on there if this is something that you'd be interested in. I could do it as an add-on where you just take your lid, whether or not it has a handle, it would work fine either way. And then I could just sell this as an add-on to, you know, the regular tube, if that's something that you would wanted to do. Got to figure out the pricing on that with the time and everything. But anyhow, just wanted to let you know that's something that's in the works possibly there. So anyhow, going on to politics and business and food shortages and everything else that I said we were going to discuss in the live stream. I've gotten high tech here, so I don't have to remember everything. I've got a little wireless tablet here, and so I am referring to the list of articles and things that I will share to my Sweet Home California Facebook group. So it's kind of like my memory to let me know what I want to talk about on a video, or if I don't have time, like right now when I'm doing 50 of these things, which I need to start multitasking, then I've got that and you can refer to it. I've only got about 50 people who are on that Facebook group right now, is Sweet Home California. It is a public group. Anybody can join it, which I guess that's why people don't necessarily feel the need to join it, because you can see it whether you join or not. But if you join, then you are given notifications when I post something new, and it might not be something that I have time to make a video of, because as I said, I'm a little busy at the moment. So anyhow, the first thing I wanted to talk about was the food situation again. We've got problems with Jif peanut butter. They have done a recall on Jif peanut butter, which my husband loves peanut butter, and I just checked, and luckily the last several times we've gone shopping for peanut butter, it has been the Skippy brand, so we dodged that particular recall. But oh dear, I can't open this up. But if you have Jif peanut butter in your pantry, you might want to go ahead and check out that recall and see if it's something that's going to affect you. Another recall that came up is bacon. Ready to eat bacon that you can put on toppings. And this is too small and I can't use it to open this up. Ah. Goodness. This is why it takes so long to get things done. So the next thing is bacon. So 185,000 pounds of bacon have been recalled. And bacon was already going to be expensive because California, for instance, has decided that they're going to increase the amount of space that pigs need to live out their lives from 14 square feet to 24 square feet. So I found out about that last year, and because of that, I got with a neighbor of mine. I cannot open this. Got with a neighbor of mine who raises pigs, and we bought a pig, and it's now in our freezer. At least half of it is, because I wasn't sure how much pig we were going to eat. I got it! Yay! Got it. Thank you all for helping out with about the comment section. Yeah, it is a little confusing, live stream chats versus regular chats, and it's confusing for me too, watching it here. But anyhow, I do appreciate the comments. Any comment you make, it tells YouTube that, hey, why don't we go ahead and share this to more people, because other people like it, right? And they're commenting on it, and they're engaging on it, so I appreciate it. So let me know where you all are from. You know, I'm here in California, as you might be able to tell from the name, Sweet Home California. But anyhow, so bacon under recall, peanut butter under recall. I think there was some ground beef that was under recall not long ago, and that was stuff that looked like, just like the stuff I get from grocery outlet. It looked like it came in those those 1 pound increment bags. And I haven't had a chance to look at that yet to see if I'm affected by that. So I'm going to have to do that just to be on the safe side. Not really sure what the recall was. I think it was for salmonella. And so anyhow, if anybody knows in the comment section, are any of these recalls something that you can kind of overcome just by properly cooking the item? And are you only at risk if you don't properly cook it? Or is it one of those kind of things that it doesn't matter what you do, if your batch has that problem in it, that you're going to get really sick? I don't know what the answer to that is. If anybody knows, let me know. And if you have a link just so I can verify it, so I can put it out, I'd appreciate it. Just know though that anytime you put a link in the chat, I have it set so that it's held for my review. Because unfortunately, sometimes people will leave links to things that are not appropriate and things that you don't necessarily want to accidentally go and see. So just know that if you set send and it was just, it had a link in it, I will be able to see it, and then I will be able to make sure that it's okay, and then make it public. But anyhow, so the next thing up on my list of things to talk about is the Supreme Court and the Roe v. Wade thing. I don't know. They were thinking that Mondays, I guess, is when the court is normally putting out information, their decisions. But in the past, it has always been that they start with their lesser controversial rulings. They kind of start with that, and then they lead up to the end in June and July with the rulings that might have that are of more consequence and are more controversial. So based on that, the Roe v. Wade would be one of those things that should have been released not until late June or July. But there was speculation going on that because of the protests that are continuing to go outside of the houses of the Supreme Court justices, which I think is completely illegal, and they should not be allowing that, because there is a federal statute. Hey, that's my sister-in-law. How you doing, Elizabeth? Because of there is a federal statute that you are not supposed to be protesting either in front of a court or in front of a judge's home, because that's intimidation. But for some reason, nobody's doing anything about it, and these people are still being allowed to protest out there. So anyhow, they were thinking that might have been the reason that the court might release that decision today, but they did not. So they are refusing to be intimidated by the court. These justices have decided that they are going to deal with these protesters outside their homes, and I hope that means that they have the backbone. That they are going to stick with their original, and I believe correct, decision, which is rumored to be, of course, that they are going to vote to overturn Roe v. Wade. The other really interesting thing that I had covered in here, if you are taking a look again, I'm reviewing some of the articles that I have shared on my Sweet Home California Facebook page. So I highly recommend that you subscribe to that Facebook page. I know there's a lot of people who aren't on Facebook anymore. My daughter says that Facebook isn't really cool. But anyhow, if you'd like to be kept up on things that I'm thinking about, then just go on over there. Just create an account for that. You don't have to do anything else. But anyhow, it's just something that it's easy for me to keep track of the articles I want to talk about. So anyhow, the next thing on my list is about Pelosi being denied communion. So that was the last thing I posted. I believe I posted it on Friday last week that it came out. And as a Catholic, being denied communion is like the worst thing that you can be denied, because communion is the source and summit of our faith. That is being able to receive Jesus. But we are also taught that you need to be in a state of grace. If you have any mortal sins, we're supposed to go to confession, and it doesn't count if you just intend to continue doing the sin. We are all human and we all make mistakes, And yes, sometimes, and I've done it myself, that you tend to be confessing the same sins over and over again, but at least your intent has to be, and of course only God knows your heart and your, you know, whether or not you truly intended to not do that sin anymore. But you know, you're supposed to repent of it and not intend to do it again. And so with Nancy Pelosi now not only voicing support for Roe v. Wade, but then now also having been actively working towards codifying Roe v. Wade, finally her archbishop has come to the decision that she needs to be barred from receiving communion, because it is absolutely a scandal. It leads other people astray to see that she is able to receive communion, even though she is very obviously going against church teaching, which for over 2,000 years has said no. You know, abortion is a grave sin. And I know I thought at first that was the term that was equivalent to being excommunicated, but I did have a number of people who commented and said, no, that's not the same thing. So I did include a video link, I believe I put it in there, where Archbishop Coeur de Leon does explain the difference between an excommunication and simply being barred from communion. Apparently, it's a difference without a real distinction. The difference being that excommunication is really more for people that have more official roles in the church, that they're then banned, like a priest or an archbishop. If they were in this situation, that they were teaching that it was okay to have an abortion, then excommunication would be a suitable punishment for someone who had received holy orders. Excommunication of a layperson is, I guess, not normally something that happens. And of course, in both the cases of being barred from communion as well as being excommunicated, the goal really is not to condemn the person. It is supposed to wake them up and say, hey, look, this is very serious. We want you to continue. In fact, you know, she is encouraged and she is supposed to continue going to church every week. Really, the only thing that she's not supposed to be doing right now is receiving communion. And she has said in the past that her Catholic faith is very important to her. And Archbishop Coeur de Leon had been trying apparently to reach out to her to talk with her specifically about this. And he had written her a letter like a year ago. So this announcement of his date has nothing to do with the Roe v. Wade decision coming out right now. According to his interview that he gave, it was really that it was a year to the day of when he issued his first letter to her, warning her that this was a consequence that could be coming down the pike. So he was just following up on something. You know, you don't make a threat and then not, or say that there's going to be a consequence and then not follow through with the consequence. However, ever since he issued that letter last year, he had been encouraging people to say the rosary specifically for Nancy Pelosi's conversion of heart on this subject of abortion. And since this has come out that she has been barred from receiving communion, there's another gentleman that I like to listen to who's Catholic. His YouTube channel is Pints with Aquinas, and he also was encouraging people to pray specifically for Nancy. So I mean, this is not at all about condemning her. This is about really trying to save her ever-loving soul, that she doesn't get condemned. You know, if she dies in a state of unrepentant sin, she has basically said, I don't care about you, Lord. I'm going to do things my own way. And that's what we don't want to see. We don't want to see anybody, you know, go to hell. But in the end, it really is that person's decision. It's not God's decision. That person has decided, hey, look, you know, I know best, and I'm going to do it my way. And so if she doesn't change her ways, then God is going to say, all right, you're going to go your way. And I don't think she's going to like it at that point. But anyhow, so that is that particular article on that. So we need to continue praying for her. And I have seen the power of prayer. It can be miraculous. So I am really hopeful that this may, wouldn't that be phenomenal if she had a public conversion and let the whole world know that she had seen the error of her ways? Wouldn't that be absolutely, that would be absolutely wonderful. I think at that point her own party would declare her mentally incompetent and get rid of her. But I think at that point that would be the one time that she's actually doing the right thing. All right, my next article here is on given a chance to avoid jail and criminal charges, the mentally ill, addicted, and the homeless in LA pass. So California has a huge population of homeless. And here in Kern County, for instance, I went to a meeting with Assemblyman Lackey. Yeah, it's an unfortunate name, but he is apparently a good representative for the area. At least that's what I've been told by my neighbors. And so I went to the meeting, and they were talking about, we had yet another fire in Rosamond, that where I am, where several mobile trailers were burned to the ground. Luckily nobody was hurt, but a number of things were destroyed. And the fire chief there, they were asking for an update on that, and the fire chief said that 43% of fires in our county, in Kern County, are caused by the homeless. Now, not necessarily arson, though they are investigating some arson, suspected arson in the county, but because of just they're trying to cook or they're trying to keep warm, and things get out of control, and we're very dry out here. We have very little water, and boom, you've got a fire that destroys hundreds of acres. And 43% of those fires they're attributing to the homeless. And I'm sure it's very similar in LA County too. I asked the fire chief, but he didn't have that information for the other counties yet at this point. And so anyhow, yeah, these the homeless folks, they don't want to be fixed because they have a problem, a mental problem that needs to be addressed. So you ask somebody who has paranoia, mental issues, and you ask them, hey, would you like to go to jail, or would you like us to give you medicine and care for you and help you overcome your addictions? Well, when you're in the midst of the mental illness, you don't want to be changed. You think you're fine. You think that they're trying to ruin your life. So they're like, yeah, we'll just go to jail. So they go to jail, and then they go out, and then they do whatever they want again. Oh, so that's that one. Next one, Epoch Times. Hillary Clinton has approved giving the Trump-Russia allegations to a reporter. So this is the Durham trial. There's a trial going on right now, and apparently her campaign manager said on this, under oath, that Hillary knew about these allegations, and she's the one who approved it. What do you think about that? Oh, where will that go from here? Let me see, because I'm multitasking, I don't get all the chats going on here. They are busing the homeless to our area. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's up in Fresno area. Yeah. Oh, Italian Alaska Prepper. Yeah, well, I want to try that out a bit more. I also don't know how many different shaped jars there may be, so I need to go find some other ones. These were local in my Ace Hardware store. This is the Ball brand, but I need to see if there are other shapes, because I want to make sure that my little contraption, if you're new, this is the little contraption I got here for sucking the air out of the big mason jars that won't fit in a canister. But with this seal, then you can go ahead and suck the air out that way. So I'll need to do a little bit more research on that and let you know. Okay, so what's up next? Next up on my list of articles is a Colorado graphic designer. is in fear for her life as her freedom of speech case heads to the Supreme Court. So apparently it hasn't gotten to the Supreme Court yet. Not sure when it will, but she had been demanded by an LGBTQ couple to make a design on a website. Website design is what she does, and she refused. And so, of course, the militant, they don't want to just go find somebody who wants to deal with them. They want to force you to bend your knee to them. And so anyhow, she's getting a lot of threats. She said that not only is she being threatened, but her clients for previous things are also being threatened, which is, that is what the left does. The right, if you don't do something that I believe is the right thing to do, all right, well, I'll pray for you. The left, on the other hand, if you don't do something that they think that you should be doing, then they seek to get judges involved and legislators involved. And of course, if that doesn't work, then they will just get the mob involved. And they will work to convince you that way. And that really, I think, is one of the main differences between the left and the right, is that the right is more live and let, libertarian. So I won't even necessarily say right, but libertarian, because this political spectrum, I think, is a lot more nuanced, more complicated than just simply being left and right. For instance, a lot of the left think Nazis are on the right. Well, I'm going to say Yahtzees instead, just for the algorithm, because I know YouTube sometimes can get their shorts in a bunch. But really, I believe, based on what the end result is, that they're a lot closer to the left. They are about control. My goodness, this stuff smells awful. So when you get these, if you have ordered one, I do wash everything. But then if it goes in the box right away, still it hasn't had time to completely off gas. So just know the smell will dissipate. You just have to give it a day or two. But the problem is that it's going to be stuck in a box, and so even though it's going to take a couple days to get to you because it's enclosed in that, it's going to take some time for all that solvent glue smell to dissipate. So I got 11 people on right now. For me, for a live stream, that's pretty good, and I appreciate it. If you are just coming on, please comment and let me know where you are from. I'd appreciate it. Let me see if I can see. Hey, Romeo. Appreciate you being there. Oh, my goodness, yes, back to the bird flu. I haven't heard too much being talked about with the bird flu. Let me know if there are still new things coming out with the bird flu. But I did see a video from a farmer, though, that had a huge flock, not like commercial, but he had a pretty large flock, and it's a real thing. I mean, I know I've seen some people who are saying no, it's not real, this is all made up, but he came on a YouTube channel, did his YouTube thing, and he's been around for a while, so it's not just he's not just like a spam bot or something, and he said it's real. But he thought that they overreacted, because he had at one point, it's like 60 of his birds died all at once. And then, he called in the feds, because apparently that's what you're supposed to do, is to call them in and have them test. And by the time they tested and everything, it had been, several days, none of his other birds were dying, but they made the decision that they still wanted to kill every healthy bird that was still around. And it's like, well, these are the ones that survived. Why would we want to kill them now? But he said, though, that he found that you need to keep your pens covered. If you've got chickens, keep them covered, because it's like the flying overhead birds, the wild birds that poop, and then it contaminates. That's how it can spread. And also because of that, to be careful about keeping your shoes separate. So if you should have a pair of shoes dedicated to dealing with your birds, and then only use those in there. Don't go walking around your yard and then take those same shoes and walk into your covered chicken pen, because then that's another way that you can spread the avian flu. But again, I'm not sure if this is even still a thing. Let me know in the comments if you know of any additional sightings where they're culling birds. But yeah, I had heard that some of these big commercial places, they have one positive test and they killed the whole flock of millions and laid off hundreds of workers because, of course, they had no more birds to take care of. And I think that's a really bad thing when we have these companies that have so much market share. Even 1, 2, 3, 4 companies even that provide for the whole country. And what happens when, like, a producer with over 3 million chickens kills their entire flock? Whereas if they were in smaller increments and smaller companies, then even if the federal government saw fit to have them all killed, it would be less of an impact. Like Abbott Industries, they're the ones that are doing the baby formula. They've got 43% of the market share on these specialized baby formulas. So they have a problem in their real big mega place, and it gets shut down. It's shut down since February, and now we have our president, Brandon, saying how great he is because he was able to get airlifts of formula from Germany after children are being hospitalized for lack of proper nutrition because they can't find these specialty formulas. It's ridiculous. So we should never allow such monopolization. I thought there were laws against monopolies like that. And that's one of the major reasons. It's not just a matter of, oh, well, they might, raise their prices, and they're a monopoly, everybody has to pay them. No, it's also because if something were to go wrong, you've got no other company that is ready to step in. And they're talking about using the Defense Production Act to create baby formula. Well, I don't know if I want some company that makes tires all of a sudden making baby formula. I'm sure that's not how it works, but I mean, you understand. If they had a mistake and they've been doing this for years and they accidentally introduced pathogens, which, by the way, it looks like the children who had gotten sick, and it's tragic because a couple of them died, and so that was the whole impetus for why Abbott was closed down. None of those bacteria that got the children sick were found in the Abbott laboratories, and yet Abbott was still being shut down. Now, finally, it says that I heard that they are going to be reopening Abbott, but it just takes time to get everything ramped back up again in the supply chains going to get them able to get all that formula out to the people who need it. Now, as for what this airlift from Europe, where they have imported all this infant formula into Indianapolis, I believe. How is that getting to the rest of the world, or rather the rest of the country? Because there are people who are in desperate need of this. How is that getting distributed out to everyone that needs it? And how are they making sure that it's not going to go to people who are going to try and scalp it? Basically, sell it for more. I'd like to know. If anybody has an idea, share that with me. I'd appreciate it. Let me see if I've missed any interesting comments. Just a moment. Live chats. Yeah, formula went to the border, but now they're getting European formula to come here to the United States. If the federal government were the only ones to have a fire department, my house is on fire. I'd let it burn. A lot of farmers saying, a lot of farmers are saying that they are not going to. They're not, we've got problems with water, we got problems with fertilizer, we got all sorts of problems. And the government is giving our farmers some money at least to subsist on, whereas if they go and try and farm, and then the water doesn't come through or whatever, then they could wind up with nothing. And of course, diesel prices are sky high too, and the farmers need the diesel in addition to needing the water and needing fertilizer. So absolutely bad situation. I would not want to be a commercial farmer in today's day and age. I can't farm. I can't grow anything. I am trying. My mom sent me home when I went to go visit my daughter. We went to Virginia for her graduation, and then I spent a few days with my mom. And I have some more videos I need to share of my trip over there with my mom. She told me more about onions and things like that. But I've got a brown thumb. I am not good at keeping things alive, but we'll see. She sent me home with something called chocolate mint. And the last time she gave me chocolate mint, I forgot I had it. She gave it to me as a plant, and wrapped it up in paper towels, and I was supposed to take it out of my backpack and then plant it, and I totally forgot. So anyhow, this time, a couple days later, she asked me, so have you done anything with that chocolate mint plant? And of course, I hadn't yet. So I do now have it planted in a bucket with dirt, and I am going to see how I do at keeping that alive. So wish me luck on that. Okay. All right, Romeo, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate your comments as always. Whew, this stuff is really getting to me. I'm not going to be able to stay doing this too much longer. Having the doors closed. I got that back door closed because the light was wrong, but I needed that cross ventilation to keep me from overdosing on glue. Let me see, what was next up on my list? I need to get my tablet going again. All right, so my tablet keeps turning off. I'm going to have to set it so it stays on longer. Oh, just a second here. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate the thumbs up. Oh, here's another one that's really cool. All right, so first human patient injected with revolutionary cancer-killing virus. So this isn't a vaccine against cancer. This is a virus that is actually going to, within the human body, seek and destroy the cancer. Interesting thing, though, they're in phase 1 trials, and the article said that this is going to take about 5 years. Okay? 5 years. And then we'll hear more about it, and then they'll go on to the next phase. So just because this is YouTube, I don't want to talk too much about other vaccines that have recently hit the market, but I can tell you it took less than 5 years for all 3 phases, not just phase 1. Oh, and also monkeypox apparently is a thing. And they've already got a vaccine for that, apparently like 3 years ago. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be coming to a pharmacy near you. One thing I hope won't affect people in the military, because people in the military already were required to get a smallpox vaccine, and I'm told that smallpox vaccination should also carry over to monkeypox. Oof. It's just amazing how one thing looks like it's starting to die down, and then boom, we got something else. Scary times, scary times. That's why we need to be prepared. If talking about all these different food recalls and avian flu, if that doesn't encourage you, and also the bacon and the ground beef, if that does not encourage you to learn how to learn how to dehydrate your food, maybe invest in a freeze dryer. That's one thing I don't have yet, but I do have a dehydrator. I do have the canners. Learn how to garden. I mean, I'm going to try my best to keep that little chocolate mint plant alive, and I'll let you know how that works. I haven't been able to keep green onion alive. In fact, the thing that killed the green onion plant that I had going on last time were my dogs. Yep, I decided that my plant needed a little bit more sunshine, so I moved it from point A to point B, and point B was a little lower down, and my dogs decided that they had a taste for green onion. So anyhow, I am trying to get that started again. It's green onions really easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And just buy green onion from the grocery store, and then the root end, just give yourself an inch or two on that root end, stick it in some water, and it starts growing again. It's awesome. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's in the middle of growing a little bit more, and then I'm going to put those in the dirt outside too. But I'm going to keep them up higher so that my dogs can't get at them. Yes, try again. Let me see if there's something else I missed there. Yeah, we are farmers. Government wants us all to starve. Oh. It's a scary thing. It's like they want power over us. Iran is apparently going to be the first to use digital IDs and digital rationing to buy bread. That they have government subsidized bread, and in order to make sure they've got proper control, you have to sign up for this digital ID in order to get your government subsidized bread. Well, if you can grow your own food, make your own bread, then you're not dependent on the government. And I have a feeling that that's something that doesn't go with the New World Order. What are your thoughts on that? Get to know your neighbors. We've got some great neighbors out here. As I told you, like the pig farmer. My pig farmer is going to be raising some cows here too. So even though I did get a half a cow, I am going to be going in on a half a cow with this new cow as well. But it's going to take a while. It's going to take at least 18 months. It's going to take at least 18 months before that cow is ready to go in my freezer. So in the meantime, I will be eating the cow that I got from the butcher the last time, and learning how to put some of that stuff in being dehydrated, as well as learning how to can some more of that stuff. I have dehydrated ground beef. I've dehydrated some stew meat, and we'll see if there are some other things that we can do with it. When you pressure cook, it does have a slightly different texture to it, but it's still good. And you know what? If you can't get meat at all, it's definitely better than not having any meat at all. So keep adding to here, and I'm not doing it as fast as I'm adding to them. So let me see. I really think that's going to be about it. It's about dinner time for me, and I need to get some fresh air anyhow. But I appreciate everybody that has joined in and has commented. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to see some other things that I've got on the Sweet Home California Facebook group, check out over there and let me know if you'd like me to do any other in-depth video on any of those. But anyhow, I appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you next time. God bless. Bye.